Alexander the Great proves that UFOs are not modern drones. September 27, 2019. Alexander the Great, according to historical accounts, witnessed UFOs more than once. And what does this have to do with recent military reports of these mysterious objects? Look, Alexander the Great proves that UFOs are not modern drones. Alexander the Great. Lately, with the unveiling of U.S. Navy videos and testimonials from military personnel who have been in contact with UFOs, many teachers of impossibility are shouting that the objects witnessed by these highly trained professionals are nothing but ultra-secret drones. But those who have actually read the statements made by these military personnel can understand very well that our current technology falls far short of executing the adventures shown by these mysterious objects. Thus, these claims that these objects are nothing more than secret technology drones are no more than a subterfuge by people who can't face the reality of UFOs, or who have compelling reasons to deny it. I have always said in several articles published here that there are records of UFO appearances from thousands of years ago, and that in the early days of certain humanity there were obviously no drones of war nations on Earth. Thus, I leave here some passages from a known figure in our history, Alexander the Great, which are just a few among countless examples of UFOs manifesting through our history. The first recorded incident about Alexander the Great and UFOs was recorded in 329 BC. Alexander decided to invade India and was trying to cross the Indus River to engage the Indian army when glittering silver shields descended and made several passes above the battle. These glittering silver shields startled their horses, causing them to disband. They also had a similar effect on the enemy's horses and elephants, so it was difficult to determine whose side these shining silver shields were on. However, after leaving the battle victorious, Alexander decided not to proceed in India. 7 years later, Alexander was faced with the greatest challenge of his military career. In his attempt to conquer the Persian Empire, he realized that the city of Tyre needed to be conquered to prevent the Persians from using this port to land an army behind him. The original coastal town of Tyre had already been destroyed and rebuilt some distance from the coast of its original site. Having no navy, Alexander decided to use the remains of the old city to build a passage for the new one. It took Alexander a full 6 months to do this, and when the task was completed and his troops carried out the attack, they were easily barred because the walls were too high to climb quickly and too thick to be torn down. Not only that, but the passage was too narrow to allow enough troops to launch a massive enough attack to overwhelm the enemy to scale the walls. It was not just a problem for Alexander, but apparently a problem for God as well. The prophets Ezekiel and Isaiah had spoken of God's curse and the eventual destruction of Tyre. Ezekiel chapters 27 and 28 and Isaiah chapter 23. How would Alexander achieve his goal? How would God ensure that his prophecy was fulfilled? The historical account, recorded by Alexander's chief historian, states that during an attack on the island city, one of the two shining silver shields attacked a section of the wall with a ray of light that subsequently caused this section of the island wall fall down. Alexander's men passed through the opening and captured the city. What is most noteworthy at this meeting is the fact that historians of the defeated people of Tyre reported the exact same reason for the loss of their city. Generally, the reason given by a defeated people is different from that given by the overcomers, but in this case their accounts have the same reading. Before beginning his great offensive against Persia, Alexander sought the advice of an oracle in a temple located in the desert. He left with a small group of men, but miscalculated the logistics and found himself hopelessly without water and dying of thirst. Almost miraculously, a rare but unusually strong cloud of rain burst high and gave him and his men enough water to complete their journey safely. No one has reported seeing any shiny silver shield, but here again it is a case of a wonderful cloud from which we see so many occurrences in the Bible. This remarkable incident was apparently paralleled by an equally fantastic visit during the siege of Tyre by Alexander in 332 BC. Quoting Giovanni Gustavo Dorsen's Storia di Alessandro il Grande, Italian scholar Alberto Finoglio writes in Cliposana 111, number 2, a startling revelation which we now translate: the fortress could not stand, its walls were 50 feet high, and built so solidly that no siege mechanism could damage it. The Tyrians had the greatest war machine technicians and builders of the time and intercepted the arrows and incendiary projectiles launched by the catapults in the city. One day all of a sudden, these flying shields appeared on the Macedonian field, as they had been called, flying in a triangular formation led by an excessively large one, the others being smaller by almost half. In all, there were 5. The unknown chronicler recounts that they circled slowly over Tyre, while thousands of warriors on either side stood and watched in amazement. Suddenly, from the biggest shield came lightning that hit the walls. They broke apart, others followed, and the walls and towers dissolved, as if they had been built with mud, leaving the way open for the besiegers who entered as one avalanche through the openings. The flying shields hovered over the city until it was completely invaded, so they quickly disappeared high, then melting into the blue sky. 120.